Say you got to go to heaven to be perfect. And that's the biggest cop-out in the world. If you die a devil, as a tree falls, so shall it lie. If you've been a dollar-grubbing, miserly creep here, you'll be a creep, and you'd make a hell out of any heaven you went to. But the church tells you you can't be good till you get to heaven. That's what they tell you. Anything they'll say, a brainstorm, those dreamy-eyed socialists. Well, I'll tell you. We're going to have to dreamy-eye together, or we're going to get blowed up together. We're going to live together, or we're going to die together. And being that I made you somewhat uncertain about your heaven, you better get about doing what Jesus told you to do, build a heaven here. He said, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth. He said, the word is nigh you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Here's where heaven's going to have to be made. We'll make a heaven out of this place, or it'll be a hell. And if we don't make a heaven out of this place, nobody in the universe is going to trust us to go to another planet or another heaven, whichever you choose. When we've made such a mess of this, and we won't get our minds concerned about political government, we say, oh, church shouldn't have anything to do with government. Oh, yes, it should. The government is upon his shoulders. We have to get involved with politics. It's your duty. And no heaven's going to take a bunch of people that were too creepy, that they were so lousy they wouldn't do anything to make this a better world. Now you better see, we're asleep. They feed us wrong, they give us preservatives. The worst kind of foods end up in the cheapest supermarkets. Still a practice. You in the black section, you get foods that came from the middle class white neighborhoods that's a week old. That's why some of you sleep here. You got a bad diet. You've been given poison gradually every day. You can't stay awake to hear somebody when he's telling you the truth. And tomorrow you go, they've got us, oh God, they've got us so screwed up. You can't get a handful out except to a healing meeting. And then you can't keep them unless you keep it healing. Usually all my services are healing. That's why we got a big crowd. But either in our black community, we got to have a song fest, get the dirtiest tramps, the biggest whoremongers and whores in town, but as long as they can sing, we'll come. Come on now, you know it's true. We get on a music, we're on a music binge. It's just beautiful. They've got us, they've made an image of us, and we have let our dumb selves fall into their image. Said nobody can sing like black folks. And we try to prove they're right. I said, we try to prove they're right. The fact is, when these folks sing, some of my white singers sing just like what they call black folks singing. There's no such thing as white folks singing and black folks singing. And I'll tell you what, right now, when they've got concentration camps planned, and they're already mapped out, and Title II of the McCarran Act is still not been revoked, and it's only an emergency order away anyway. El Reno, Nevada has them, in Allentown, Pennsylvania, several places throughout the nation, even up here in Tule Lake. My God. Concentration camps I'm talking about. All they need is a stroke of the pen. 24 hours. So it can't happen here. You must not know the Japanese. 24 hours, every Japanese. I've got one government friend, that's Soyaki. It's in a government post now. His mother died in a concentration camp without as much as an aspirin for 6 months with cancer. A doctor never came near her in 1943. Don't you tell me, you silly people, that it can't happen to us. The Japanese owned a great section of California, but their money wasn't even good enough for them. You and I, we don't have anything. The preachers got it all. All we've got for our money, they've got some great big church. They've robbed us blind. We've made some Uncle Tom rich. We built fine churches, and our homes we don't own anything. We owe our soul to the company store, trying to keep up with Whitey. We have the biggest color TV, biggest Cadillac. We think that's going to make us free. That makes us more in prison. That's why I don't own a car. I don't own any new furniture. I never buy any new clothes. I have never bought a new pair of shoes in my life. And that's why I am free, because I don't have to have anything. That's why I can speak my peace, because I don't owe any bills. I'm not afraid of losing my job, because I know I can go home and eat some greens on our church property. I'm free. You're not free with your Cadillac. You're doing just exactly what the man wants you to do. Buy his goods so you'll never have any real economic freedom. He wants you to buy everything he advertises on TV, so he'll keep you perpetually owing your soul to the company store. You're not free. You're a slave. I saw some silly woman in the Sun Reporter this last week had 4 pages to celebrate her birthday. And I looked at her, a victim of malnutrition. I don't know what her name was, some name. Showed her with all these, she'd got a few white folks she'd bribed in with pictures, I guess. Did you see what I'm talking about in the Sun Reporter? There was 4 pages. This black woman, and she was suffering from malnutrition. I could tell it because as a prophet, I could look at her body. It was quite evident she was obese. She was terribly heavy, and she was wasting her money trying to show somebody she was something. When you could look at the pictures, those white people looking at her, they really didn't want to take a picture with her. They didn't want to be caught in a picture with her, but she had them come in like she was somebody, and she was the biggest fool that ever walked on the face of the earth. Last week's Sun Reporter, you saw it. If you saw this fat woman sitting there like she was a great free woman, and she was a dumb slave. Come promulgating up in our furs and our clothes, and we fill our churches. We think we all lived on Madison Avenue till we come home at night to the same stinking old neighborhood.